Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about something oh so juicy. And I'm a professional athlete and my channel is based on, it's all about me. First of all, I teach you to boss up yourself, how to be confident in yourself, and I'm intertwining my basketball skills into my channel. And so previously we only discussed, elevating normally, but now I'm going to tell you how to incorporate the strengths of an athlete into your day-to-day life. So today, for example, I'm going to be speaking how most of the time the best for the job doesn't always get the job. That doesn't mean if you got the job you're not the best, but I just want to speak to those who might have been qualified and overqualified at some point and not gotten what they desired. The first thing I'm going to say is do not attach your sense of self-worth to whatever you were pursuing or whatever goal you're going after, because if you don't get it, you're going to be completely, like, I don't want to say completely destroyed, but that's essentially what happens. So I'm able to speak on this from a personal experience. There's just something that I was one of my biggest goals, I would say, in my life. It didn't go how I wanted. And it wasn't because I didn't do my part, because I did my part and God did his part. But humans sometimes are, it's just the way things work out sometimes. But I'm making this video because I want to come back and look back at it and realize in this moment I took my power back, because I have a choice to either let it to dwell on it and let it sulk me and like sulk in that space, or I get a chance to to talk about it, to educate and take the lessons and move on respectfully. And that's what I plan to do. I plan to speak on it with you, my fellow audience, and kind of tell you, if you ever find yourself in such a situation, how to bounce forward, how to overcome, and what to do in such a situation. First of all, as I previously said, I don't like speaking on me personally, so I'm just gonna use like scenario. So in this scenario, person had everything it took, overqualified, there was nothing stopping. And sometimes if you don't understand how things work, I would say it's so important to speak to people who are qualified and who have an understanding of what you're pursuing. Like, don't be scared. Don't let fear of the unknown. And Isaiah 7:9, I'm looking at my notes, y'all, says, if you're not firm with faith, you will not be firm at all. So while I was pursuing one of my biggest goals, which I just spoke about, then I'm just gonna tell it from my perspective, because at this point I want to look back at this video and know that I'm proud of myself. So I'm just gonna share it from my perspective. This story it's a first person story. I'm gonna be a third person in this, but anyways, sharing from my point of view, you get it. I was aiming for a goal that I've just been pursuing for a long time, and it's really just been heavy. Normally, when I have something, I told you on my previous video, when I plan, I set it, I pray, I go after it, and I get it. Period. And the day, nothing stops me. God is on my side. We like this. We're going, 100 meters per hour. We're getting it. But this time around, things were different, and I had to learn. This is what I had to learn. Ecclesiastes 9:11 tells you time and chance plays a major role, and time and chance always favors me, and I'm thankful for that. But in this situation, I was starting to lose my faith. I knew where I was headed. I knew what God had told me. In the middle of pursuing that, there was a time where I was getting tired. I was just felt like I was maybe overworking myself, or I just didn't know what it was. And I remember telling a friend a story how, I'm going on a journey, and I already spoke to God about it, and I'm currently on the journey. But I was feeling somehow during that moment, I realized, because I didn't know how I was going to obtain what I was working towards. I was like, oh my God, that's faith. That's literally faith. As Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is it's working towards something, and it's unknown, it's unseen, but you believe. It really just hit me like, oh my God, I just got to keep going. So I said I have to say this. You have to have faith. No matter what you do, no matter where you are in your journey. So time that back to you could still be the best and not get it. Divine timing. Not yet. Not yet. Because there's a extremely important lesson you need to learn. So when you do get what God has prepared for you, you do not fumble it. Let me go deeper into that. And as I said earlier, this is a personal story. And so I had to put everything aside. Like normally if I make a video, like I know that I'm talented, I know that I'm gifted. And I had to just come here and sit down and channel every epitome, everything in my body that was feeling just down. And yesterday was a rough day because I had to come into understanding that what I had really focused on, what I knew I was gonna achieve, was just the possibility for this period. It's not going to happen. But you know how I was able to really overcome it? I was able to overcome it because I said, I'm going to tell y'all to hold me to this. I'm going to make this video and I'm going to come back to it and say, yeah, I did it. I did it and I did it better. Like when I remake this video and then soon by God's grace, when I remake it and I reference back to this, I'm going to give you guys the exact thing that happened. And it's going to be so beautiful because I'm going to tell you guys exactly how God prepared me. This period right now, it's difficult. It's so difficult for me to sit here and tell you, oh my God. Yesterday would have been tough for me to make this video because I couldn't just tell you guys, oh my gosh, God is preparing me for something. No, I was mad. I was upset. But I just thank God for the mental toughness that I have been able to, create and really how I had to train my mind. As I told you all, one of the number one skills of being an athlete is training your mind to be stronger than your emotion. Because if my mind was not stronger than emotion, I'm going to lose it every time. That does not mean I'm not going to let myself feel my emotions. Oh, I'm going to feel them. I'm going to let it out. I'm going to talk to God about it. I'm going to talk to my closest people about it. But I'm not going to let it consume me. Because one thing that I want y'all to take away from this channel, you either sin and soak or you boss up, and that bossing up is necessary. So that's just a little bit of snippet for this video. I want you guys to take this away from this video. If it hasn't happened, it's because it hasn't happened yet, but be prepared for when it does. In the Bible, there's a story about the virgin, something like that. Some of them were prepared and some of them weren't. Never ever let any situation catch you where you were unprepared. Rather be overprepared than underprepared. Stay ready. One thing about me, I'm always gonna stay ready. That's for damn sure. I'm always gonna look good. I'm always gonna be in the best shape, and I'm always gonna be ready for the blessings that God has lined for me. And I hope you take that away from this video, because if there's nothing else that you take away, as long as you stay ready, as long as you know that you gotta make sure you have a firm faith and believe in yourself, everything's gonna be all right. So to wrap up again, I had a goal. God told me it's gonna be okay. It didn't come through. I was so bummed, but I learned a huge lesson. That it's really a lesson more so on understanding that you have to build certain relationships to get to where God is taking you in your journey. So it's not by might, it's by the Spirit of God. That you didn't get what God had for you in a specific time period does not mean it's not going to come. But do not attach your sense of self to anything or anyone or any job or any, if I would have done that, I would be crushed right now. I would be so down, but that you didn't get something is not the end of the world. Put your faith in God and not in man. Put your faith in your creator, not I want to thank God because I know who I am. And by the time you are done subscribing to this channel, staying tuned here, you're going to thank God that you found Elevate with Sandy. So once again, thank you so much for joining me, and bye. Like, share, subscribe, and please leave a heartfelt comment. We'd be so happy to hear from you. Bye.